start the recording. We're gonna get that note. So you will notice that I'm being a little bit cheeky and sneaky because although I did promise you we would no longer be painting spheres like last week. Here, what is last week's sphere? Here's an example of last week's spheres. We're painting oranges, which are basically just like spheres. So, or just drawing them. So I want you not to worry about, and one of the things that's nice about this is we can also talk about perspective. How do you draw these so you get them all in the right places and you get them in the right sizes? So we're going to spend a fair amount of time. And Jean, of course, you're going to be just working in pencil. So we will be starting this lesson. And don't worry, you don't need to know anything.
That's good.
Don't panic. Right, guys? Don't panic. So right away, as we look, so really, gosh, I'm trying to think of how to talk about this even. So right away, can anybody tell me what direction the light is coming from?
Well, the right-hand side.
Right. How can you tell?
Because of the gleam on the orange.
The lightest part of the orange is closest to where the light is coming from. And that little blick here, right, is where the light is actually hitting from. And notice that as the orange turns away, it starts to get darker. In fact, you can really see, let me sketch this in. I'm going to sketch this in, and of course, let's see here. Oh, how interesting. It totally looks just like a sphere.
Oh. So Paul, if you don't find your palette paper, you can just use parchment paper over a piece of cardboard or aluminum foil over a piece of cardboard or a plate.
I didn't think about parchment paper.
Right.
But yeah, that's something I didn't think about. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, or
next
aluminum foil.
Or aluminum.
Oh, Diana, that's looking great. Are you going to do anything else with it?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay. Do you need any help with that, or do you feel ready?
No, I know where
rock and roll?
I know where the problems are.
Okay. So the other reason we can tell, of course, that the light is coming from the right is that the core shadow, the cast shadow, is going off this way. So if I were to sketch this in very simple terms, I'm just working on the front one now, but I'll show you how to include the back ones. I think this will be a fun thing. Without the little stem on the top, really this is a circle, right? That kind of gradually gets darker. And if we were to look at the sort of lightness and darkness, if you remember, value is the lightness or darkness of any color. Hang on just a second. I'll be right back.
Rallo, what's your take on Prince Andrew?
Oh, well, it's exciting, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's not called Prince Andrew anymore, though.
He's definitely not cool, Prince Andrew.
He is now
Was he
Andrew
ever?
Winter.
Yeah, that's a really good question. When was he cool, Prince Andrew? Oh, hi, Mariana. There you are. Okay, so so not only do we have this thing happening, which is very much like a sphere, we have perspective happening. So as we're starting to sketch things out, I'm wanting you to notice. There. We sketch this like this, you can really see this. I'll take a picture of this so you guys can really see it. What do you observe about the fruits that are farther away? What can you observe about them?
They're like spokes on a bicycle chain.
Oh, it does look like a spoke on a bicycle chain, doesn't it? Here's my
smaller.
They're smaller, right? What else? And this one's, so these are probably the same size, But this one, since it's farther away, looks a little bit smaller. And this one looks smaller still. So as things move away from us, they get smaller. What else besides the fact that this looks like a bicycle chain spoke?
Well, they're partially covered. They're not.
Right, absolutely, excellent. So they'll be more like crescent, right? Number one, we've got these leaves coming over. But number two, oh my God, my cat is an escape artist. He's like kind of running around and causing trouble, and I locked him in the bathroom and it lasted about 2 seconds. The other thing is, notice that as the oranges go away from you, they rise up. Can you see this? They're rising up. Why are they actually levitating up? If I was to be in real time looking at these in 3 dimensions, would they actually be higher up? Or do they just look higher up?
Look higher.
They look higher up, right? So what's the principle here? The principle is, just very simply, I'm going to tell you this before we get going. Principle is the same principle as the principle with the road, right? So you remember we all learned how to draw a road going away from us like this, right? The road is actually not smaller here. The road is the same size. In reality, the road is the same size in both places, right? It looks smaller, but it isn't actually smaller. And the other thing is that the road is flat on the ground. It doesn't rise up. But when we're trying to convey on a flat surface that something is moving away from us, because the way our vision is organized in something called cone vision, this is how it looks as you translate it to a flat surface. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So essentially, the same thing is happening to the oranges. So even though these oranges are the same size, basically, they don't look the same size, and their bottoms are not in the same place when we're trying to convey them on a flat surface. That's like the quickest and dirtiest way I can sort of explain to talk about why we struggle to draw. And it's because we actually have to translate what's happening in 3 dimensions to 2. And we have a couple of ways to do that. One of those ways is to understand how perspective works. So we're going to start. So how perspective actually works. Does anybody remember? This will actually go. Okay, I'll do this on the other side. I'll do this on this side. These will actually meet in what we call a vanishing point, right? So the top is angled in one direction. These are not parallel lines, right? This one's angled up more steeply. This one is kind of coming down so that they'll meet at a vanishing point. The vanishing point might be off the paper. But when we're trying to sketch them, it helps to get this bigger bicycle chain spoke in, as Paul suggested, calling it, which I think is really good. This is exactly what it is. So that's how we're going to start our sketch. So I'm going to start here with watercolor. You can use, Jean, you can use paper, any paper you want, really just anything, starting with a basic pencil. All right, I'm going to demo how this looks, and then I'm going to send it across the page to you guys. I'll have you send it off as well. I want to make sure. There's always this challenge.
Leah, I'm thinking about doing something exciting.
Yeah.
So my sister bought me this brownie orangey charcoal set.
Oh, you want to try using Conti crayons?
I'm going to try and use charcoal. They're brown tone charcoal.
They're Conti crayons. They're Conti. Yeah. So they'll be a little harder than charcoal. Yeah, try it. See what happens. That's a great idea. I mean, you'll have plenty of time to try this in again if you're not happy with the first time. You know what I'm saying? You'll have plenty of time. Okay, so when we start, and in fact, I'm going to make this even easier for y'all. We're going to start like this. So we don't even have to get the rounded thing. We're going to start with this kind of trumpet shape. So on the sort of left edge of your paper, fairly close. Does not matter if you get it to be the same size. Okay. This is going to angle up. I kind of want it to go. That's interesting. Technically, we could really bring this bottom line to meet up at the halfway point. of the paper, a little bit below the halfway point. This other line is gonna come down. Oh, no, it has to come down lower. Let me give myself a starting point. So here is where line 1 is gonna be. Here is where I want this to be fairly narrow. Here is where my second line is gonna be. Oh, you can't see that. Here, let me do that again. Okay, so I've actually marked, kind of looking at this to get these spaces fairly clear. There we go. So I'm gonna start with this kind of weird pizza looking triangle to start my drawing. So you guys can go ahead and do this same thing. I'm gonna set a picture across this chat so you can see this really well. Sometimes it's a little tricky to see it. And my whole drawing, everything needs to be kind of contained within this. You can see I'm gonna have a little bit of trouble here. Sometimes it's tricky with the horizontal ones. They don't quite want to fit. But anyway, let me take a picture so you can see it. There we go. I'm also going to take a picture of this so you can see what I'm working from. Hello, little buddy. Okay. Actually, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this underneath. Well, I just need to keep going back and forth a little bit. So go ahead and send that out to me.
What?
Let's see. You know, Paul, it's a little bit far. Can you bring your that single line? Yours is kind of close to the edge here. Yours is like right here. Can you bring it in a little bit to the right? But good in general. And remember, you need to leave enough space to be able to get, oh, Jesus, sorry.
What happened?
He just jumped up. All right, here's my little rat here. I'll introduce him for just a moment. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, he's so cute.
I'm so much trouble. So I'm trouble. I'm really trouble. He just jumped on my back with his little claws. In fact, I'm going to put him into the house. So give me just a second. You're coming into the house. Okay. I'll wait to see just a couple of these. Let's see if I can get this up further. Almost.
I'm doing these as a warming up exercise.
It's a great idea. So Diana's going to do this in acrylic, so you'll see how she does it. All right, and then of course the second step, we're going to add the kind of rounded edges that are here, right? Which involves using negative space. We'll talk about that. But we also kind of want to know how much space, how much width this, this orange takes up compared to everything else. So if I were to measure just the width across, can you see that I'm running my pencil like straight across the edge?
Mm-hmm.
The width like this. Oh, look at that. To the edge of the paper, it's exactly twice the size of the width, twice the width. Can you see that? Here and here, to the very edge of the paper. So now, if I want to be really sort of kind of proportionally correct, I can run a line through here just lightly, and I can find the halfway point. It's very light. The halfway point. I can do that a couple of ways. I can do that by kind of guessing. I think it's about here. And then checking. Oh, I was totally off. Completely. So you see, I can check. I can mark where I think it is, and I can check it. Nope. Here. That should be doing it. Some days you're off. Some days you're on. There we go. That's closer to the edge. So I can do it that way, or I can take out my little handy dandy ruler and try to measure. Right? I can take my ruler and measure it if I want to. But this kind of sighting is a good way, it's a good thing to get used to. Now I know the edge of my orange is here. That this is the edge of my orange, the exact halfway point. Interesting. So you start to see that like things are in different, you know, as obviously as I was like kind of judging it, I was thinking, ah, the orange is about here, but it's actually a little bit farther out than I thought. That helps me as I'm starting to sketch it. So I can start here. Oh, and here's another excellent lesson. Talk about this. I can do this in pieces. So notice this, there's kind of an interesting negative space. There's a shape here. What's negative space? Anybody want to tell me? What's the negative space?
Sorry, I'm not paying attention.
What's negative space, Rollo?
Where the places where there isn't the sort of subject.
The subject isn't there, right?
Yes.
So here's in a left brain world where it doesn't matter when you're not trying to draw something, you're just trying to understand it conceptually. You don't really think about the negative space. You think the shape that's not the object. But when we're drawing something, we have to get this shape correct as well as this shape, right? So we have to make sure that these things are working correctly. Now I can kind of come around. Here we go. We're going up. And then on this side, I can do the same thing. Look, there's another negative space up here. So I can, kind of pops out a little bit. Oh, orange is really big, way bigger. And I know my orange is kind of coming down a little bit on this side. It has to stay in this triangle. The stem is outside the triangle. It's on top of the triangle. But the orange itself is kind of within this triangle. So I have my end point at the halfway point. I've got my two negative space shapes. And then I've got this little triangle, which is keeping things in places. So this is a slightly squash looking orange, even though you feel like it should be more even. It's not exactly. Kind of at an angle. Go ahead and try it. I'm going to take a picture of this. I'm going to take a picture also of this. So you can see these shapes. So in general, the less you think about what the thing is, and the more you think about the shapes, the easier it gets to draw it. We have more negative shapes here. So go ahead and do that. Go ahead and get in your first sketch. I'm going to draw in some more.
It's good as a warm-up.
It is. It's a great warm-up. Isn't it a great, and it's a great perspective exercise too. You're welcome.
Thank you.
This is a little tedious, but I really appreciate the lessons of it. Even if you don't get it all in this session, and that is okay. Okay, so take a picture of it. If you think you've got it, take a picture of it and send it over to me. Send it over on the thread.
Nuh-uh. I'll show you later.
Okay, you don't have to. You can send it to me privately. You can
I
just
will
text me.
later.
Okay. Anybody else want to send theirs over so I can see where we're at? Sometimes I can help, Jean, just to get it in the right place.
Okay,
So let me see it. You don't have to send it across the thread. Just text it over to me. You have my number, right?
I do.
Yes, just text it over to me so I can see it. I also have this. There we go. That's pretty good, Paul. I think your halfway mark is here. I think you went past your halfway mark.
Oh, you know what? You're right. I
You
think
did. You always, so just know.
I went
So
to the
get
old,
that.
yeah.
So bring it
sorry
back, bring
about
it back on this side, pull it in, rein it in. Woo! So notice that one of the things that happens is we draw things too big, particularly when we're working with curved lines. It's very easy to make things too big. Stay within your parameters. Okay. And then I'm going to add in my second. I'm going to add in this second negative shape. It's kind of like a little, a sort of a curved. See that space? See that shape? Right? And then up here, it's like this. It kind of comes down, over, up. Jean, if you're finding you're having trouble getting things in the right places, that's totally valid. That's okay. That's a really common problem to have. You won't be the only one who has that problem.
Okay.
Rollo, let's see.
I managed to cut off the bottom of it, so it doesn't. I can't see. I might have to take it again.
Can you take it again, please?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep, looks pretty good. It's a really, what I would more want you to observe is as we're learning to draw like this is a different way of thinking. If you're feeling uncomfortable about it, that's really great.
And so I missed this whole other thing you did because I was trying to text you, but how
I'll
did
show you again. I just basically drew in this shape,
Oh, okay.
right? Which is
Okay.
just this negative space here. And then I came up here and I drew in this shape. Let's see.
I'm gonna send you my basic sketch before I kind of start.
Okay.
painting.
Great.
Well, I painted it, but
Looks great, Rollo. That looks pretty great, actually. Let's see.
Rid of my lines now.
Oh, it's way better than you think it is, Jean. Come on, you're doing fine. I like that you're uncomfortable, though. This is a good feel. You're just fine. You're doing just fine.
Okay.
So keep going, because
Okay.
there is this kind of awkward phase to the process too, where you're like, I just don't know where this is going, and that's part of the problem, right? That's part of the issue. Okay, down here on the other side, there's a little tiny. Can you see it? It's like right here.
Yeah.
A little tiny. So I'm even just kind of drawing the right edges, and then at about here.
Can you move your paper over a little bit?
Oh, yeah.
We can't see.
Yep.
There we
It's
go.
hard for me to get both.
Yeah. No, I
You
got
know what I mean? So I'm gonna have
Yeah.
to keep going back and forth. Oh, and you don't need to see me here. Hold on. I'll make
Oh,
this
but
easier
we
for you. Yes, well, I love seeing you guys, but we don't need to see it. Okay, and you can
Okay.
see that here. So basically, almost always I'm finding my end points. Right?
Bloody hell, Diana.
ah,
Pretty much finished already.
It's the base.
Looks great, Diana. The base.
No pressure. on
Don't
anyone
let,
else.
yeah, no pressure for Diana. Diana's really good at this, if you haven't already
Yeah.
figured it out.
In 30
And
minutes,
then-
she's done it all.
And then, right, and then this is the base, as she says. Diana's very quick. There's a.
Yeah, but I have acrylic paint and I paint directly, so.
Right, and then we've got this leaf here, so we can start with this shape here, right? It comes here. Look, it comes almost kind of to the halfway point. You can try that leaf. Notice I'm doing this kind of shape by shape. Then there's, let's see, there's this leaf kind of starts here. And it ends here. It goes in like this and down like that. Right? And then there's a little shadow here that kind of follows that leaf pattern. And then this last leaf. It's basically a series of curved lines. If you want to, you can add in a center line. And then if you want to, of course, you can get in this. I'm going to kind of leave it up to you guys how detailed you want to get with this. There's obviously a leaf that's kind of hiding back here. Looks like that. So why does nobody learn to draw like this? Because it looks so awkward. It looks kind of dumb. I think that's, it's too simple. The mind kind of wants more complicated things. There we go. But once we get these shapes, it's going to be easier to get the other ones. These bigger shapes here. So I'd like to see everybody's. So Rollo, you can go ahead and start. Let me just talk ahead a little bit, and then I'm going to talk about this again. We'll point at this. So if you're working in black and white or one single color, like pencil or the Conte crayon that Rollo's working with, how do we show things getting darker, right? You're going to like run your pencil kind of lighter here, right? And then gradually get darker. So there are basically two ways of showing something is three-dimensional. That is on its flat surface. One is to get the shapes right and the perspective right, catch your negative shapes. The other is to get values right, the lightness or darkness of any color. So if when I say value, I mean if one is, let me write it this, it's easier to see. If one is light and 5 is dark, 2, 3, and 4, I'll do this in pencil because it'll be easier, are going to be gradually darker. In a drawing, we like to push value differences. We really feel a sense of moving back in space when our darks and our lights are really dramatic. So our lights are like 1s, maybe 2s. Our darks are 5s. Our mid-tone tones are 2, 3, and 4, right? They're somewhere between light and dark. So what is the darkest part of this subject? Oh, Mariana, that looks pretty good.
It's basically, I think, underneath the orange.
the shadow, right?
Yeah,
The shadow.
the darkest is underneath the actual orange.
Yep, that's absolutely right. So I would label this area a 5. There's one other area, so there's a little bit here that's like a 5. There's one other area where there's 5. There's the shadow cast by the leaf on the orange,
Mhm.
right? And then what else is a 5? Anything else?
The building at the back.
Yeah, don't worry about this. You're just going to do a simple background, one color. This is kind of not really interesting. I don't think this compositionally helps this at all. So that's dark. That's true. So this is dark. Let's say this is 5. What else is dark? What else is a 5?
The leaves and the stem.
Parts of the leaves. Some of the leaves are 5. Up here is a 5. Right? Maybe, yeah, this is a little bit lighter. This is like a 4. 1 might be here. Here, and here. So maybe 2 is here. And here. And 3 is here. 4 is here. And then right before the orange turns around, there's a little light spot, which is like a 2. That means reflected light is coming from another section. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 5. 5. This is probably like a 2 to 3, this value. This one's lighter. This is like a 4. This is like a 3 here and a 1 here. It's like colored by number. So when you're starting, if you're going to start, so once you've got this drawn out, so Rollo, you're just going to go ahead and start darkening your darkest areas.
Yeah.
Okay. The rest of you, I want you to just kind of work on getting this shape, and I will repeat this again. I can see Rollo was there. Mariana, you're kind of there. I want to check your shape. Hold on. 1, 2, good. Good. Mariana, this orange is it's down too low. You have your orange sitting down like this. I'm going to draw it in a little dot. You have it down here like this. If you'll notice, the bottom of the orange is higher up than the bottom of this orange. So erase this bottom and bring it up.
The beeping is my dog playing.
Oh. I'll send this over so you guys can see it. There gets to be a point where I sketch on this thing too much and then it's not as helpful as it was. Then again, we have pictures of the earlier version, so we can always return to that. So for those of you who, here, I'm gonna put this over here. Put these as close together as possible. Oh, let's see if we can do this. Come on, come on, come on. Ah. I'll start here. And actually, I'll start here like this. Here. So I'm going to scoot this over just a little bit. I'm going to start on the left side. Sketching in from the bottom here, straight line out and a straight line here. Well, it's a slightly slanted at the top. Right? That's the shadow. And then really, this is just the light. I'm drawing this in dotted lines because for those of us who are going to paint, we'll take a picture of it. We kind of don't want so many lines here. By the way, once you've got these, you can erase this. I won't do it yet until everybody's got it. It's the, oh, right, and I forgot. Here. 2, 3, 4. You can't really see much of the cast shadow on the last orange. It's kind of covered by the leaf. So it's is that Sunny playing with her?
Yeah, it's a
Squeak, squeak,
squeak
squeak.
toy. Squeak toy, sorry. I can turn off the sound if you
It's
want.
really cute. To me, I associate as the sound of happiness. When dogs play with their squeaky toys, I just think it's really, I don't know about you guys. I just think it's,
If it bothers anyone, just let me know.
oh my gosh, I can't imagine it would. Then again, I shouldn't. You know. I'm just gonna draw a line here and here. Simple line. We'll pick one color for the bottom and maybe 1 or 2 colors for the top. Oh, here we are. I'm sorry, didn't get a chance to see maybe the others. But you can see that essentially what I just did was follow these lines here. There's a little bit of a shadow here. And a light spot here. Let's go ahead and mark these out. Okay, Josh. Nice. 1, 2, good measuring. This guy's sticking out a little bit too much, Josh. If you look, you'll see really from here to here,
Okay.
it's just about 1/3 of the way across these last 2. Right? We can't see that much. We want to make this one bigger. We totally do. We always do. Maybe I need to just adjust this a little bit.
For some reason, the shape of the first orange doesn't feel right, but is it because I wanted it to be like,
No, you got it. It's better
Okay.
than you think. You can round it a little bit if you want to here a little bit later.
okay,
Right, right. It's in pretty good shape. I feel like this one looks like a little hat and a little bit of hair.
Yeah.
On a little face.
yeah, like a Disney Channel, like kids
Yes.
character.
Okay, so that looks pretty good. So those of you who are working in pencil, like Rollo is, you'll just come in and start coloring in with your pencil heavily the darkest areas. And you don't want to like do lines like this. Well, I mean, you could, but you want to kind of cover it as evenly as possible. So you'll want to be bright dark is gonna look like this. And this will be dark. So whatever is here is going to be less, even at the darkest part of the orange, it's going to be less dark than what's happening here. It's going to be like a 4 as compared to a 5.
Oh, sunburn.
Does anybody have questions or not clear, or is this feeling hard or challenging?
Yeah, it's hard and challenging.
Okay.
That's
Do you have,
okay. I'm fine.
you have questions?
No.
That, like I can, okay. It's just doing it, right? It's just
Yeah.
seeing it. Well, I think one of the things that helps Jean is to define the type of hard and challenging it is. Oh, there we go. Now this works, which is better anyway. Which is if you can figure out part of it is like keeping things in the proportions, right? Keeping
Yeah,
the
I think
shape correct.
my proportions are a little weird, but that's okay. I'm good.
All right, all right. And then if people are ready to start painting, well, we're gonna do a couple of things before then. So before people are ready to start painting. Yeah. Also know this is like learning to draw is like learning a language. There's a whole set of rules that we don't know that are not intuitive to us. One of those things is starting with these bigger shapes. For some reason, when we draw, we want to start from the beginning, go detail oriented and come out, right? In reality, though, it makes more sense, right? It's more logical to start this sketch as a simple bigger shape and pull the littler shapes in once you get there. It helps to find your outer parameters. But that is something that feels uncomfortable because we're not used to thinking about things like that. Also, it's really easy to make things too big, super easy. So you will notice, you'll see that I actually already made the mistake of making things a little too big. I did it 3 times when I was trying to find my halfway point. So it's a very common thing to feel like things are too loose. For those of you who are done with the drawing, you can erase all of these extra construction lines that aren't really connected. So the 2 perspective lines, right? You can get rid of those. If you drew a line across the middle, you get rid of that. So now I do just have 3 guys sitting in a row. My pencil is pretty hard, so I'm kind of trying to erase it. You guys need to be able to see it, so I need to make it hard enough so you can see it. Go ahead and erase your extra lines. And then this is where we're going to diverge. So those of you who are working in pencil, you'll just be working to get your darks in. I'm going to talk to you about how to mix colors for those who are using watercolor and how to mix colors for watercolor in minutes. And good. If this feels challenging, that's so wonderful. Think about the last time you felt challenged in your life. It's probably not very often. We're adults, we're good at things. We get good at things. I think about like trying to learn to drive. I really think about how learning to draw. I was not one of those kids who knew how to draw or who learned how to draw when I was a kid. I didn't know how to do it at all. I didn't start learning to draw until I was about 32. I remember every single painful moment of it and the learning of it. I used to come home from class and cry. Because it was hard, because it was really hard, such a different way. But it was also interesting enough that it kind of piqued my interest. So even though I wasn't very good at it, I was interested enough to keep going because of the learning curve associated with it. Now, are the painters ready or shall I wait a minute? Tosh, I know you're ready. Are you ready? Yeah. Paul, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Mariana, are you ready? Painters, are you ready?
I'm doing pencil today, just.
Oh, just doing pencil today? Okay, then you just keep working pencil. So you're just, gonna do your darks, your 5s, your 4s, your 3s. All right, excellent. Then let's go to color version. Yeah, I'll just do this. Yeah. I'll put it over here, actually. Put Placement is everything. Okay. So for watercolors, go ahead and bring out your palette sets. How do we make orange? You guys remember?
I want to say alizarin crimson and any yellow, I guess.
I like the specific specificity of it. You can actually really say any red or any yellow, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be alizarin crimson. Could be, depending on what kind of orange you're gonna make. I'm getting some water on a paper towel. I'm gonna clean my palette out so I can do some mixing. You have a dirty palette like I do, you might want to do that. With oranges, with watercolor, it often helps to start with a light wash. So you'll notice Diana went pretty dark on her first layer because she's working acrylic, which is great because she can put lighter colors on top. However, we know that with watercolor, we cannot do that. So I'm going to take a brush that's kind of bigger. And I think we might start with just a yellow wash. So I better clean up my yellow. I can see my yellow is already got lots of other colors. It's very quick for your yellow to get. I'm going to get some more yellow. My suggestion is that we start with yellow. Do a yellow wash over everything. Let's see. This is lemon yellow I'm putting down. This is gamboge. It's kind of like a ochre or a mustardy green. I can't find any cadmium yellow. If you have cadmium yellow, you can totally use it. I may be out.
About lemon yellow.
Lemon yellow will totally work. Totally work. In fact, that's what I'm using. So I have my brush in my water. I'm going to do a very light watery. I'm using a fairly thick brush. I'm using a flat brush. I really like flat brushes. So you'll notice you don't want to start off this exercise with a brush like this. This is going to make you absolutely insane. What happens is when we're not very experienced using the brush, we pick a brush like this small one, because we think we have more control. But what happens is you can't cover anything with it, right? It takes forever. Here, I'll do it on this piece of paper. See how long, it's just like, I have to keep going back in and dipping, right? But watch this. If I do this, look at how much I can get. Now I'm starting with yellow and not orange because yellow is one of the colors we mix to make orange. So I know that I can layer kind of orange on top. It's not going to look too weird. And I'm going very, very light. This is not what Diana did. Diana went dark. She can because of what the medium that she's using. But for us who are painting with watercolor, we need to start out kind of lightly. Because yellow is also part of green, I might as well go in and do my stems. And why not just a little layer here for my shadows as well. So basically, we're kind of painting the whole subject, including the shadows in yellow. So go ahead and do that. It should dry very quickly. And you can use any yellow you want. You don't have to use this kind of lemony yellow color. You could use the cadmium yellow, which looks oranger, you know. One day. Those of you who are drawing with pencil may want to try this. You may want to, at this point, turn your drawing and your source upside down. I'm going to send you a picture of your source upside down. You may want to try drawing upside down as you're coloring your different shades in. So just in case you want to do that, I'm going to send this across the thread. You might think it's harder. It's actually easier. So if you want to, those who are working with pencil, flip your paper upside down. Flip your drawing upside down and look at this upside down. Sometimes it can help.
Fackadoodle.
I heard that. I heard that too. These are good noises. These are the noises of learning. Tell me when you guys are ready to go on. In fact, I will wait for the watercolor people to send over a picture. Rollo, if you're struggling, send over a picture.
No, I just realized I got something wrong.
Oh, the shape.
Yeah,
So you can't really erase with those things, can you?
not really, but I'm just trying to fix it.
Okay.
I'll just try and send it to you what I've done.
Yeah, yeah. Let me know if there's anything I can do to help you fix it. If you're not sure how to fix it, send it to me. Send it over. Yep. Ooh, that's interesting. That's an interesting, they're like pastels almost.
Yeah.
So what do you think you got wrong?
It's the leaf. It's the leaves at the top. It's the dark underneath the first leaf, and I haven't got that there. I haven't put the black in.
I think you can layer dark on top. Hold on. Give me 1 second, you guys. I'm just gonna go. I gotta do one thing. Yeah.
I can do it.
It's going along really well. What's that? The painting's going along. It's looking good, yeah. It's a little bit sleepy, so there you go. All right. That's a really, I'm sorry, I think that's a really interesting. Okay, Jean, we'll see you. Okay. Anybody ready for the next layer, or do you want me to?
I'm gonna send you mine.
Yeah, let's see.
I might not get to paint anything else today.
Yeah, you might as well, right? It's kind of a strangely appealing subject. strangely.
Uh,
Ariana, I'm surprised you're not using watercolor tonight. Are you feeling tired or just not feeling like up to it?
No, I have renovations in my house, so I cannot use that room.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so I'm working from the bed, which is very uncomfortable, so I cannot have the paintings. here.
No, you're totally right. I appreciate you just doing what you can do then. You know, that's the whole point of this class is to try and make it a little flexible for people. So when that happens.
Yeah,
Anyway,
they
I
they'll
appreciate.
always say they're gonna finish earlier, but they never do.
Okay, I sent mine.
All right, let's see. Oh, yeah. So what I think, Diana, is just glaze these back with like a little bit of ultramarine blue.
The what?
Glaze the shadow sides with a little bit of blue. To
Okay.
push the blue ultramarine, to push the blue, to push the shadows a little bit darker.
Okay,
And do that in the sort of reflections as well.
all right.
What
Push them
color
back.
are the leaves? Are those?
It's
that's,
green.
Yeah, I think they have some yellow in there too. It's green.
Well, green is, yellow is part of green. So.
You know what I'm saying? It's like viridian green, yellow, and some red in there too, I think.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And in this spot, but let's be careful on that. Let's not jump into that yet. Let's work with the, let's work with the orange. So the real trick here is to mix a kind of dark, right? Shadow of orange. So if we're mixing a shadow of orange, I don't have orange, so I've got to mix orange. So number one, I've got to mix orange. I've got to take yellow and red. But also, my orange is in shadow here, which means it's slightly neutralized. So does anybody remember what color we mixed with the orange to make the shadows?
Green.
No?
Blue, yep, blue. So I'm taking a tiny, once I mix an orange, I'm taking a tiny little bit, not too much. Can you see how little it is? To create a kind of shadow color. And look at, it's beautiful, totally works. This will work with any medium. I need something to test it. I'm testing, I have a little testing sheet up there. So when I come in here in my darkest part, remember I want to leave this little light edge, so my darkest part is in here. I have this orange that's tinted with a little bit of blue. See how beautiful that is? Even put a tiny bit more. I think ultramarine is the blue to use. Oh, I've run out of orange, so I've got to mix more orange. I'm working in the darker area, the shadow area, because I know I'm less, if I work that area, I'm less likely. So in this half area here, it's not exactly in shadow, but it's darker than what's happening here. So now I'm cleaning out my brush and I'm mixing more orange, but I'm not gonna use any blue this time. And I'm gonna use a very watered down version. Use a lot of water here, hold on.
I did the ultramarine.
What?
I did the glaze with ultramarine. Should I do something with the background too, or just leave it?
Yeah, the background's a little bit sort of scrappy.
Yeah,
So I'd clean it up a little bit.
okay.
Mhm. I like the value, just like, you know, clean up the mark making a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, what brand watercolors do you use?
Mostly, shows you how often I use them. I don't even know. Mostly, these are Cotman. I like to use the tubes.
Okay.
And I also use a lot of the Van Gogh brand.
Okay.
I'm not, and also Sennelier. I kind of look for whoever has the colors I want in the moment. Let's see. This is Winsor Newton. I use a lot of Winsor Newton.
Yeah, I like.
But as you can see, I kind of use everything. I'm not really a watercolorist, right? So I'm not as stocked on my watercolors as I am on other things, because I just don't, I like it. I'm just don't use it enough.
Because I can start to see that, like, I saw some reviews on the watercolors that I bought, and they were saying that it's like a cheaper version that leaves marks a lot. Like,
Yeah.
can't really be.
Carista sells a wonderful brand at her gallery. You should text her on the thread and ask her.
Oh, I saw her Instagram post on that. I was thinking about.
Yeah, they have a really neat, so you should ask her what brand that is. And by the way, guys, what you can see here is that as I'm layering in my color, I'm also kind of blending the edge a little bit. See? And I know I'm going to have to go darker. I can already see in the dark area. So I'm going to have to mix more paint. Yeah, she really swears by those brands. And I have to say, the last time I was in the gallery, they looked, I was kind of mesmerized by them. They looked really wonderful. Oh, hold on, having a dripping accident with my pastels here because I'm on it. So you see how I can get darker here and then kind of blend up. So the idea is not to have these strong, like half moon edges. I'm still kind of trying to create an edge. Both sides do not have to be wet for this. You can do this. Kind of bringing one wet edge over another. And then of course, I'm gonna actually switch my yellows. So I've been using cadmium red. Now I'm gonna be going to, I wanna use a little red and a lot more yellow for this last edge. I'm gonna darken it. Oh yeah, I can already see. I'm gonna need to darken that middle area. That's okay. I know how to do that. So you see, I'm kind of going back and forth.
Yeah, that helped.
Notice I'm going around this little blicky area here. Might get a little bit of orange in here. This is my tube. Is he having a good time or is he, what's he doing? Yeah, he's having a good time.
Oh, I got some light. It doesn't show the true colors actually.
You can see I'm kind of bringing this up. So there's still a transition. If I want to, I can take my blankie and go, oh, that's kind of a neat. I don't know if you guys saw what I just did here. I took my paper towel and kind of tapped it across and it crumpled it and it created a kind of texture that's sort of orangey. You can do that if you want to. Let's see. Oh, yeah, that
light
looks
is
nice.
reflecting.
It looks great. I love it.
So I think I actually gonna call it a night.
Okay,
I did the painting in this class.
you did great. You did really
You did.
great. You did really great.
All right.
All right, Diana, good job. You're showing up.
Yeah, well, have a good rest of your class.
We will. We'll see you
And
soon.
see you next time.
Yeah, see you
Take care,
next
Diana.
time.
Thank
Okay.
you. Bye.
Bye.
Ever since she's had to go back to the office, we don't get her as much.
Oh, man.
That's okay. So look at this. I can take my little paper towel and kind of create a lovely orangey mottled texture, kind of like that.
Oh, that's cool. I see that.
Yep. See that? You can try it if you want to. Yeah. Yeah. I definitely feel the need to get in my shadow. This shadow is very purple looking to me. So I'm going to mix ultramarine blue and a cool red. Ultramarine blue, cool red, like quinacridone red, to make a purple. Oh, you know what? I'm going to clean up my. But the shadow isn't just purple, is it? What do I need to do mix to make my shadow look kind of dark and shadowy? What do I need to mix in here? Anybody?
Add some yellow.
A little bit of yellow. I'm going to start by adding a little bit of gamboge. Not too much. Oh yeah, and that makes this really fantastic. Kind of murky dark, which I can then lay right on top of my yellow. We're probably going to have to layer a couple versions of this. Yep, that's looking pretty awesome. I like it. I can also put this down here and kind of over.
You should have turned it around the right way.
What's that?
You should have turned the picture around the right way.
Ooh, that's looking nice. I really like what these are doing.
They're good, aren't they?
They're cool. I would add a little bit of green in your, do you have green?
I've only got this
These
orange,
oranges.
oranges.
Do you have any pastels, Robert?
I do, yes.
Why don't you get your pastels and kind of layer a little bit of pastel over them? Then you can twerk the colors a little bit. That's not bad, Paul. Just keep going, right? You're going to continually darken.
You know
I
what
like
I did?
your
I put in some burnt sienna. So
Oh, did that help? That's a great, I mean, you know, burnt sienna is another type of orange. So, but you use blue, right?
there was a little blue in there too. Yeah.
Yeah, a little blue. You could use burnt sienna if you wanted to. It's nice. I like it. All right.
So turn
And
it
then we're
around.
we're gonna do this same thing again, right, with the smaller oranges. So we're gonna be mixing.
I'm just trying to smooth these colors out a little bit more.
They're really cool. So that's what I like about this particular class. It's a little bit less driven here. I'm doing a little bit more mixing in a blue. I'll try what Paul did and put in a little bit of burnt sienna too. Ooh, that's nice. Touch of red. Oops. Red is really strong. All right, so when I'm here, the shadow on this orange particularly feels a little bit more ready to me. So I'm kind of creating a little bit more.
Just give a quick cigarette.
Yes, perfect moment. Then get your pastels and see what else you can do.
Well, I'm not sure whether to do green because I wanted to show my sister that I used all her pastels.
Okay.
And they're all brown. I quite like it.
I do too. I think it looks really, really cool. So that's why this class is so fun. It's a little bit more open-ended with your results. You might try a pastel version or a watercolor version, Rallo, since you've done that one.
Oh yeah, no, I might well do, yeah. Don't think
Right? Like, and that's kind of the nice thing as well. You've got a little time left. So try it in a couple of different ways. It's a fairly simple. I'm kind of darkening. I took the shadow color that I put everybody else and I'm darkening everything. So I thought I might as well darken my first. Kind of intentionally working around. Hmm. Very reddy orange. So I'm kind of going over the top of the shadow area, particularly in the shadow areas. So I'm kind of going over the shadow areas a little bit more red. Yeah, I like that. To kind of, even though it's kind of a murkier orange. Yeah, that's really cool looking. Hi, Lisa. Excellent. Good job.
Yeah, I did that without any instruction.
You did great. And I love how you got your oranges kind of rising up using the perspective method. Did you see this? Was this helpful at all?
Oh, I didn't even see that. No.
Okay, so you should take a look at this to start doing
Okay.
your your drawings.
Okay.
Awesome. Hold on. I'll send this over again so you can get it.
Okay.
Tosh, I'm finding that I'm layering in a bit more I'm adding in, by the way, a little sort of a bit of a ragged edge as I put in my dark.
Okay.
And I'm layering a little bit of red in over the shadow once it dries to make it more red. Can you see that? So that's I'm finding that's sort of the secret sauce to this one. Now, of course, we haven't even gotten into the leaves yet. We'll get there next.
Yeah, I'll show you Coco later. She got a haircut.
Oh, does she like it?
Yeah, I think she's happy with it.
She probably feels good.
Yeah.
Hopefully it feels good to her.
She's got a lot of fleas. Fleas are in full effect.
Yeah, they're pretty awful these days. Okay, there's definitely a light, a medium. And then there's this kind of dark shadow. I'm really enjoying this little pull-off technique. I think it's kind of cool. I'm going to go to a smaller brush for the shadow. And let's say we're going to do burnt sienna and ultramarine blue for the shadow on the orange. So take a little hint from Paul in his book and add in burnt sienna and maybe a little bit of cad red. We want this to be darker, right? Kind of reddish. Yeah. Yeah. And then the green. So Paul, what was the suggestion you made for green?
Let's see, Quinn red, Viridian green, and yellow, cadmium yellow.
I think that sounds good. I would try it. You can also try Viridian green and let's see. Let's see, Viridian green. I got all these new colors that were not. You can also try Viridian green and burnt sienna. A little bit of yellow, a little bit of cad yellow. Mariana, how's it going over there?
I'm fine, thank you. I will send it right now and I will have to leave because there's like a thunderstorm here.
Aw.
Yeah, difficult day.
Okay,
but
you
I
be careful.
okay.
Be really careful.
I just have to take the cars into the garage.
Right.
Maria, where are you?
Houston.
Oh, yeah.
Now we have, all of the things that we didn't have here before, like cold snaps, winter
Right.
storms.
Right. Yeah, all things that like Texans are not used to dealing with.
Exactly.
Right? Oh my God, will you guys be careful? But send it over. Yes, I'd like to see it. I like Tosh, you're bringing the picture back. Oh, that's actually quite beautiful. So honey, one of the things I want you to watch, remember,
Uh-huh.
you want a soft edge So the only problem with your oranges right now is that that edge is not soft.
How do I do that?
With
Leah?
pencil, you can take, let's see. With pencil. Here, hold on. I don't have a piece of paper right now. So you can take, you can go dark. And then fade in a lighter here. See that?
Yeah.
The idea is not to have a strong edge like that. That's what you've got right now, right?
Okay.
You don't want
Yes.
that. You want to be running your pencil over. You can take your finger and soften it. Sometimes you can take your eraser and kind of
Are
soften
you
it.
talking about the internal edges or the? all
Yes,
of
I'm
the
talking
edges?
about the internal edges. These
Okay.
this is a hard edge, but this is a soft edge. These are
Yeah.
soft edges, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, yeah.
you don't want that sort of little, the drawing is really coming together, but you want to go over those edges where you've got this happening. And make it
Mhm.
softer. So it means it's a little bit more ragged.
Yep. I see your
right?
point.
Does
Yeah.
that make a sense? And then there's the transition. So this, I'm holding my pencil a little bit lighter. I can maybe take my eraser and do a little bit of that. There's also something called a tortillon. So you can see I'm with my finger, I'm kind of doing it.
Mhm.
But the finger puts too much kind of oil, finger oil onto the drawing, so it'll kind of wreck the drawing. So there's something called a tortillon, which is basically like, I don't have one with me. It looks like a shiv. It's like a little piece of paper that's been rolled up, and you can kind of scrub your edges of your drawing
Okay.
and make them. So you can try that, try finding one of those. I'll find a picture for you guys and send it across the thread, but mostly that's how you're working it. So you want to, like with your pencil, be working those edges, making them soft, the internal edges, the internal dark, medium, light edges. This obviously is quite a distinct edge. So is here. So is here,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
are the leaves here, but this is definitely soft. So
Okay.
that's the practice. But so just keep working on it throughout the week. As you have time. Because the drawing is definitely coming along. We'll be doing something similar in tomorrow night's face drawing class. We'll be working on face shading kind of the same way. All right. I'm taking, for our green, I'm mixing green, a little yellow, and a touch of also twin red. Let's see how that looks. I think I need to go darker. So I'm grabbing a
Well,
little
you
bit of.
guys.
Bye, Mariana. Stay safe.
Thank you. Talk to you tomorrow.
We'll talk to you tomorrow. See you soon.
Bye.
So I've got green. I've started with pretty green. I added some red to make it a little bit shaded. I'll start in the darkest parts of the leaf first. Here, maybe on this side. Here. It's also a little bit dark, kind of on the edge here. Lighter. So I'm using more yellow for that. but still making sure I've got some red in the mix. Kind of here. I'm also skipping these light areas that are in here. There you go. I'm starting to build them up a little bit. So whatever green I mix, I just want to remember that I'm always going to mix a touch of red in it.
I didn't put too much red in mine.
Yeah, so just make another pile and mix again. They've had quite a good places. Kayla, yeah, it's hanging up there, right there. You can take it off the nail. Okay. He is a very happy cat. Oh. He really loves playing with Kaylin. He really loves it. It is like pretty great for him. It's doing really good things, I can tell. For those of you who are listening to this, my next door neighbor, Kaylin, who is 13, is coming over and playing with Hermes every day. So he gets enough attention, and they've just been playing for the last like 45 minutes. That's right. Now he's kind of tired, so he's sort of panting. Look, I don't know if you see it, but he's kind of like panting. If I can get a picture, he's looking at her like, she's the best. Here, hold on. I'll take a picture of this so you guys can see it. It's really cute. Here, hold on. Oh, there they are. Thank you. Thank you, Hermes babysitter. Bye. We'll see you tomorrow. Yeah. See you after school. Ciao. Bye, ladies. Exactly. Now he's just like laying on the floor, like. She ran him around so much. So cute. How's everybody's day been?
Yeah, I got nominated as the judge, so that was good.
That's really great. How do you get nominated?
You have to put yourself forward for it.
Okay, and then you get to, it gets decided,
Yes.
right? He's so cute.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
All good.
I'm thinking about the background now. I like Diana's decision here to like kind of surround this painting with blues. So let's see what we can do here. Let me clean up my.
What is the background, Leah? There's the sky, and is that a building?
Yeah, it's a building, but we're not drawing that. That's just, this is an unsplash photo. So it's some not unprofessional. This is some amateur that is shooting oranges. So what I liked about this was the perspective happening, right? Yeah. But I don't really think it's worth mimicking or repeating.
Yeah, well, I'm just like, what are these oranges doing in front of a building? Like,
There, yes, right? That's an Unsplash thing. Not that I love Unsplash. Don't get me wrong. I think Unsplash is great. I've got this kind of neat turquoise color I'm gonna put kind of around the bottom. Remember with watercolor, oops, oh, that's really cool looking. I don't know, I love that. So did you see what I did there? I had this like little drip of wet orange paint, and as my blue paint went across, it activated the drip and created this thing that looks like a reflection. Call that a happy accident. Painting terminology. How do I repeat that somewhere else? And then, yeah, so I'm just going kind of like dark blue on the top, light blue on the bottom, and I'm kind of trying to leave a little bit of white, which with watercolor always really helps. If you're using acrylic, of course, like Diana, you want to cover the whole thing with paint. Oh, ouch. Okay. Hold on. I may take Hermé back to his apartment dwelling, so I will be right back. You guys keep working. These are neat. Oh, did you have fun? Did you have fun? Did you have fun? Lisa, how goes it for you over there?
with my drawing or my?
Yeah, with your draw. Well, how are you also?
Or my
But
life.
yes. How's your life? How are you feeling? Are you back to normal?
You know, I feel much better today. Yesterday I did not feel good. My husband and I both think we had like a COVID relapse, but I feel much better today. So
Really? So what did that feel like?
yeah, just a week ago, like Tuesday, Wednesday, I felt great, back to normal, and then Thursday I just felt tired and congested again.
Right.
All the way through yesterday, and today I feel much better. So yeah, apparently that can happen. You know, I've been reading up, and you can have people can have relapses, so that's fun. But
yeah, the
I feel
joys.
much better today. My drawing is going okay. I'm still working on the different values, the 4s and the 5s.
Sweet.
There.
Great. I just want to make sure you're getting your soft edges in on the orange, right?
Yeah,
Itself.
that's going to be tricky.
Not so tricky.
I don't know. I feel like it's harder with pencil.
That's true. It's Mariana was just asking the same question. Did you see the demo for her a little bit? Let me demo that a little bit for you.
Okay.
So we can get that. That's what this class is all about, is doing all the different things. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, that was, you can thank Rollo for that. It was his idea.
Oh God. Is it all
But
my
it's a good idea, right? It's
Yeah.
kind of a slightly, it's a fun class because it's not quite, it's a little bit more flexible. You can work with what you've got. Less than, you know, the other classes are a little bit more, you should really be working with whatever I'm working with, or, you know, that kind of thing. But I like this one because I feel like we have options. All right, so when you're working with pencil, right, a hard edge is pretty cool, right? It's clear, it's like this, right? And we get dark up to here and light over here, right? That's pretty obvious. But when you're working with a soft edge with pencil, it might look like this. The dark edge might look like this. And then the soft edge may just come in,
Okay.
right, to the center. So it's a little bit
Yeah.
more ragged. And it's just not so straight.
Okay.
See there? So that's a way of doing it. You can also, as I was telling Mariana, kind of take your finger and scrub the edge so that you get rid of some of the harder, pencil lines. You can also
What about just like using your eraser?
yeah, you could use it with, that's exactly what I was going to say next, eraser, but softly. Yeah. So play around with those edges that you can make.
Okay.
Now, as I'm coming in and looking at my painting, as this dries, I'm definitely as the center dries, center orange dries, I want to kind of build up my light orange layers. Right, so I'm coming in. And orange, yellow, green. So I'm kind of pushing the orangeness. I like that orangeness. It's a silly expression. But I'm kind of making the orange more orangey. Same here. Everybody should be working. Tosh, Paul, how are your soft edges coming?
I don't have too many, but so far so good, I guess.
I didn't measure this out at all, by the way.
Okay, let's see how it went. Oh, I see it. Here, hold on.
I just went for it.
One. Hey, it's not actually not bad. This sort of shows you that like once you get the proportions, it's a little bit easier to keep them in your mind.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
absolute.
Yeah.
Lisa,
Mm-hmm.
I realize I haven't signed Jill's leaving card or anything yet.
Oh yeah, you can still do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think maybe we should remind everyone tomorrow on the call.
Okay, yeah, that's a good idea. I will do that.
Who's leaving?
So poor Lisa is on her own now.
What?
No,
What
I'm
do you
not
mean?
leaving. No,
I know.
my
but-
coworker who covered entertainment with me retired. Well, she took a buyout at the end of last year.
Really?
So I have to do twice the work that I used to do,
Oh,
until I
honey, I'm
get around to
sorry.
replacing her. Yeah, well, and she was an awesome colleague. I mean, that's the real downer. She was a great person to work with. She was awesome. So
I mean, dare I ask, Lisa, how the hell does it work? Normally if they're going to do redundancies, or is it a redundancy or a payout or a...
they offered buyouts to people who've been at the company like 20 years or more to leave voluntarily. Like, here's a bunch of money if you want to leave voluntarily.
But what does that do? Why?
It saves them some money. That's a good question, though. What
I know,
does that
you know
do?
what? Because I don't think it actually does, but somehow it takes her off the books, and they put that money somewhere else. I think it's just messing around with the budget, but I don't know. I mean, yeah, it would only save them money if they wait, longer, if they wait long enough, if they leave her job open long enough, right?
Right.
But we can talk more when we're not being recorded.
Oh, good point. I'll stop here. Hold on. We'll end the recording.